The following is a fan-based discussion. All materials discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, Saban Entertainment, and Tsuburaya Productions.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tokutalk.
It's been a while. It really has.
It always is.
Like, when was the last Tokutalk?
I have no idea, but all I know is...
It was serialized versus episodic.
Yes, that was the last one.
Oh, I didn't say what, I said when.
A couple of months
That
ago.
was still, that was a while ago. These ideas tend to pop up fairly irregularly. But this week, we are here to you with a new thing that we just randomly thought of and texted these guys in the middle of the night. What can, the various series bring to
January 10th was the last Tokutalk upload.
That was a very long time ago.
It was still this year.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, that's the most shocking part.
But yes, what can the various Tokusatsu series bring to each other? Mostly, this time, we're going to focusing on what we consider the big four, which are Ultraman, Rider, Sentai, and Garo. Garo to a lesser extent, but we'll explain that at the end.
It is like Garo.
Now, at the beginning, we're going to go ahead and start with what can Kamen Rider bring to the other two, because everything's going to end up going to everything else except for Garo.
Which just goes to everything.
Yeah, it's going to go in reverse order for Garo. But what can Kamen Rider bring to Ultraman? And the idea that we came up with is not every threat has to be a monster. Interpersonal conflict does sometimes, have to be needed.
Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes you just gotta, as a normal person, punch the shit out of somebody else.
It's true. I mean, this happens occasionally. They tend to do this a little bit more in the older Ultra series.
It happens in older, because if you remember, it was Tiga with the monster that invaded their base. It was...
They did it in Gaia, too.
In Gaia as well?
Yeah. Gaia, when they had the two Ultras fight each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
He doesn't know.
No, he doesn't know.
He's a fucking liar. But, yeah.
We're the shot. We're the shot.
But, yeah, it's just like, we end up having things like that, and we haven't seen, small-scale fights in Ultraman in such a long time. It's been just... Maybe since Nexus? Like the last one?
Tiga?
Nexus came
after Tiga, that's right. We'll review it later.
Yeah.
Just zoom in on me as I stare into the camera while y'all are talking, because I got nothing to say.
Alright.
This I do.
So for the next one. What can Kamen Rider bring to Super Sentai? Give the villains some depth. Which they, to be fair, Sentai used to do this a lot.
Yes, they did.
Live Man is the one that comes to mind.
Live Man, Die Ranger.
Die Ranger is a good example.
Yeah,
Change
but
Man.
Those were, before the year 2000.
Before the year 1995.
They used to do this a lot. What was the last really big one that they sort of did this? Jackie Ranger?
Probably Tokuger. To a lesser extent.
Yeah.
But it's sort of become far and few in between. And the thing that I think just ends up making this stand out that much more, when you do not have human suit actors for your villains, that's the thing that sort of just diminishes it. Because, you can think about somebody like Enter and Escape, but then you end up getting to someone who's a little bit more recent.
Anybody from
Ninja.
I was also going to say...
which, to be fair, they tried to do
Zoojer.
that. Yeah, Zoojer's a big one.
And as of right now, Lupat.
Sort of. The snow guy is a thing.
Okay, I'll give you him. I will give you him, but he's not in a suit for most of the time. You first see him as a human form.
Yeah.
But the Dawn...
Yeah.
Bland, boring, and stupid.
Yeah. For right now. Apparently he's supposed to be coming in the actual
By the way, I'm also going to call this one the Rocket Man.
The grenade guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him the Rocket Man.
Thank
you. And now this video is being taken down. Anyway, he's bland, boring, and stupid.
Yeah, it's... You know what? That's the thing. We need more human suit actors in Sentai again.
I'll give Lupat this.
Not just human suit actors, but just human actors in general as your villains.
We haven't gotten them since.
I will give Lupat this. They are the ones who realize that the chick shows up every time they beat a monster to make him grow. Recently, they're like, wait a minute, she didn't show up.
Yeah, they actually they got wise a little bit.
Uh-huh.
A monster blew up, and then they all went, but what's-her-face didn't show up to make him big, and it turns out the monster was still alive.
Oh.
So they're like, oh my god, they noticed her.
Yeah.
Next time, just shoot her when she shows up. Be great.
Be smart. And I think they're going to try to do that from now on, but she's just going to get around them. She is walking through the portals.
But anyway,
That's what thanking for.
But yeah, that is what Kamen Rider can give to Sentai because the villains are just kind of flat lately.
What can Super Sentai bring to Ultraman? This one's sort of going to be a back and forth for this first point. Give everyone something to do.
Both in combat and outside of combat.
Yeah.
Everybody had a purpose.
In Sentai, they do it a lot more often recently.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with Key Ranger. Some things happen on screen. They split the teams into two. Everybody got something to do except for maybe, what's her name?
Sky Blue or
what's her name? Not
pilot?
Hammy. Yeah, Raptor.
Well, she was the pilot, so she really couldn't go anywhere. She had to fly the fucking ship.
Still, she was just such a background character.
Yeah.
A lot of them were, unfortunately. But I still think she was better than Green.
Now, as I said, this is much more of a back and forth thing because we can definitely have some standouts from Ultraman that could bring it to Super Sentai.
Maybe it's an X, I think, did this better than anyone.
X. Nexus to a lesser extent, but I only say a lesser extent because that girl got like a 45-minute special dedicated to her.
Yeah.
Still look great.
Deactivating.
Serious though. What can Super Sentai bring to Ultraman again? Camera work.
Yes.
Especially with...
As of late, Sentai has gotten a lot more dynamic with their camera work and their fight scenes.
Q Ranger did first person, which was weird.
Yeah, that's something they didn't really do a lot.
Ever.
Using drones, especially. Ultraman sort of gets there, but this is coming down more to the suit actor. I remember there's that one thing of X where he came out to the sideways one.
Mm-hmm.
It's they do that occasionally, but it's not dynamic enough all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And understandably, you don't have to be dynamic all the time, but the fact
just
that
have a few outside the box thoughts.
we're seeing this so much more in Super Sentai, they're especially with the Lupin Rangers fighting, and them doing all the acrobatics and everything. There's a lot more waist high cameras.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit more interesting to watch the fights in Super Sentai versus Ultraman, and in some cases Rider too. All the Rider, of course, Zane Company and Sentai, so they're starting to bring those in too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we really want it to be bigger. What can Super Sentai bring to Rider? Jacob, this is your point.
I don't remember what it was.
The finishers.
Right. Kamen
tired.
Rider. Well, I don't know. He's the one who wrote it down, not me. That's why I forgot. But anyway, Kamen Riders these days, they have 800 billion finishers. They don't feel special anymore when they do them.
Which is because they used to be. It was always a rider kick.
It was always a rider kick, a rider punch, or they would have some sort of sword finisher.
Yeah.
Some sort of weapon finisher.
Build is just is getting bad. Or actually, no, Build isn't that terrible about having too many finishers. Because, but the point is that they don't longer...
Well, they were at the beginning when he had the form juggling.
Yeah, when he had the form juggling, but now that he's just kind of just doing rabbit, and tank every other time, it's the same finisher.
It's going to go down to that Kamen Rider formula,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know how genius is going to be because that looks like to be another Kiwami arm soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, we can just use everything.
But Cross Z has, I think, one of the best Kamen Rider kicks ever, and he still uses it. And
Sure.
Magma even better. But
This is something I just want to point out. Use your rider kick more.
yeah, please.
And
It might be a little more expensive, but
Drive.
don't have 800 billion other finishers that you can do, or don't make them so elaborate that they're like Drive, where they're just impossible.
We saw it twice, and once was a movie.
Yeah.
all right, moving down. What can Ultraman bring to Sentai? Sense of scale. It's important,
Absolutely.
especially when they're actually doing the fights.
Especially when
they're
they're the mech fights. When somebody hits a building and the building crumbles, make it look like a building's crumbling, not
Or make it not just make it look, make it feel. One of the things Ultraman does really well is when Ultraman is fighting a monster or another Ultraman, it'll slow down a little bit. The action will slow down somewhat so it feels like there's weight to everything that happens, and the sound design
The biggest thing
encapsulates this as well.
I noticed this with Sentai more often than not is because of the fact that since they're on just that set, they always focus on the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare that they end up focusing on the surroundings.
Mhm.
They do this every Ultraman fight is like this, where they'll focus on they're in the middle of a city. You come out, you see the Ultraman fall in the background, but you're cars and dirt and buildings and everything are flying about.
Mhm.
I love there's this, I can't remember which show we were watching, but it was one of the scenes where that happened. I think it was actually Gee. where that happens in the background, but the camera's in an office building.
Mm-hmm.
So you see just things falling over and paper just flying everywhere. Somebody lost a paycheck. It was all weird, and I loved it.
There was one time they kind of did that. I think it was when Sentai did a crossover with
Gaim.
And
Sakatora was in
an office. What do you mean there's a giant robot? I don't know what you're talking about.
because Tokucast was the one at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but of course the robot wasn't making any kind of vibrations or sound whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is our point, but it's still funny.
That was just dumb.
It seems like Sentai just doesn't do enough to interact with your surroundings, which is something that they should definitely do more of.
Another thing that I think that Ultraman could bring to Super Sentai, and this is more of a orb thing, because this was used a lot in orb, vary up your fighting styles.
Yeah.
Give different characters different fighting styles.
Which
Kamen Rider, that could also be from Kamen Rider too, because look at Wizard, which I hate to bring up.
No, that's
that's
one of the things Wizard did well, I thought.
Yeah, every single time he got to a new
form.
Yeah, he's like the fighting style switched up. Tai Chi, various strikes and karate. And
we've seen this a couple of times.
Gekki Ranger does this
Gekki
perfectly.
Ranger, Dai Ranger did it very well.
Yeah, but especially in Gekki Ranger because they learn from different masters throughout that show. Mm-hmm. So their styles end up changing to incorporate things from those various masters.
And in Dai Ranger, they all had different fighting styles.
Yeah.
Very shine.
But here we are now. It's just like, it could be better. All right.
Another thing, like, playing off of that, sorry to keep going on, but Ultraman could bring to Kamen Rider another thing.
Well, that was the next one. Ultraman brings to Kamen Rider.
Another thing Ultraman can bring to Kamen Rider, make your form change really feel like a change.
Yeah.
Really, like, in Ultraman Orb, many problems that I have with that show, one of the things I absolutely loved about it, when he uses Burn Might for the first time in Orb, and it turns him into a wrestler, and he's just, like, doing body presses and throwing the monster around. Like, and it really feels like a change has happened to his form.
And when Gi turns into
not just he's a little bit faster.
Cosmos and Ikari is like he turns into a Tai Chi person because that's basically what Cosmos wants. He wants to give you a hug. But yeah, it's just like there's a distinct difference between how the forms fight, and it's much more of a thing with hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Something whether we're going to bring up in a second too.
And Kamen Rider has been kind of going away from hand-to-hand combat. For
Ghost is such a big one with this, and I bring that up because he has so many.
He has so many forms that and every one of them has a weapon
associated with it.
Whether it's a sword or
a bow or
the gun,
whatever,
whatnot.
But we need more hand-to-hand.
And this brings us up to our final point for this one. What can Garo bring to these series? And better and more out of suit fighting.
Way more out of suit fighting.
And I mean, even with that, to go back to Ultraman to Kamen Rider used to be hand-to-hand only. There were no weapons. Remember, we had one sword, and there were no weapons. That's why when a form like in Gaim, fucking Knuckle Man got introduced, I'm like, oh my god, somebody's punching somebody.
We understand it's still toys.
Toys.
We understand you have to make toys and sell toys.
This is probably also part of the reason why Gekki Ranger didn't sell as well as we wanted it to.
Yeah, but me and Markers are definitely the type of people who like watching really good hand-to-hand combat.
Which is why we like Gekki Ranger, why we like Dai Ranger, why we like Go Busters.
Yeah.
And even and also there were some scenes in Kyoryuger that we really enjoyed, especially with their out of suit fights. Because
that out of suit fight in the forest.
Yeah, the suit, because Blue was a wrestler, fucking Green and his swordplay was great, Black and his sniping, it was all really good.
But just watching Garo and seeing Koga, Zero, everybody
or Koga versus Zero.
Yeah.
Or really just anybody
or any
in
of
that
them,
show.
for that matter.
Even Gokai Silver.
Yeah, it's like they fight with their weapons a lot. Yeah,
but
because that's part of the show.
But it's much more, I don't want to use the term realistic, but it's more involved.
The stakes feel there because we can see that's the actor, that's the character. He's actually doing the fighting.
And I think also because a sword attack is not followed up by another sword attack. It's followed up by an elbow
or a kick.
It's up close and personal.
It's varied.
Yeah. It's we say this a lot, but in season 3, it has in Garo, that is.
Yeah.
It has one of our favorite, just fight scenes.
But it's our least favorite season.
Yeah, it's true.
But that fight scene on the train is just
glorious.
It's glorious because they're also only in suit for like the last like 30 seconds of it.
Yeah.
You mean only in CGI?
Yeah. But still, you know
And
what I
they
mean?
have a time limit, so.
Of CGI.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
kind of forgo the time limit after a while. They stop bringing it up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Let's just assume he beats it in the correct
Yeah,
way.
that's
pretty
really
much.
all you could do.
But, yeah, just that's the thing about one of the things I like Garo so much is because that fight scenes just are have much more oomph.
I remember, what was it, years ago, and the fact that on the most recent Power Rangers listing for Beast Morphers, because they have it on there, she had to have like some sort of martial arts training in their casting thing. In Power Rangers, they make sure that you have that, which is like the weirdest thing to say. They make sure that you have some sort of training, or if you can fake it like Catherine Hillard did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the thing. Power Rangers kind of has more out of suit fights than Sentai on a regular basis.
Yeah, they do.
It's really weird to say.
Yeah, and they really showed that Dino Charge.
They definitely, it was one reason I really like Dino Charge.
There's so much original footage in that one,
which is good.
But yeah. All right, is there anything else that we could have come out, or do you guys have any ideas? You can definitely put that in the comments below. We'll end up saving it for maybe another Tokutalk. If there's enough, we'll do a part 2 of this of just you guys.
Of your thoughts.
Yeah.
But as always, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share us, follow us on Twitter, become a patron, follow us on Facebook, blah, 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 blah. We're going to make an end card eventually, so we won't say this anymore.
Sometime.
Maybe just do a voiceover at the end of every video.
Oh, yeah, that would actually work.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.